Welcome to the Brass and Woodwind Shop. This is the saxophone pad leveling tool that I got in college almost 30 years ago. One of my viewers asked how to make one of these, so I'm going to show you how to do that. This is my saxophone pad leveling tool, which has leveled several tens of thousands of saxophone pads over the years. And it has two thin strips of metal, and this one moves around, and that moves so that you can get it into different places on the saxophone depending upon which key you need to do. On the G sharp key especially, this needs to bend into the correct position to get it into the right place. The way this works is you see which direction the pad needs to be adjusted, and you do that with a leak light. Then you figure out where the tool needs to go, and you put it there, and then you push down on the pad on the other direction, and that will bend it in the direction you need it to go. I also need to say that there are other ways to level saxophone pads. You can use partial shimming, and you can also heat up the pad and then float the pad into place. Different repair technicians prefer different ways of leveling saxophone pads. I will use all three methods depending upon which one is needed at the time. I measured the thickness of this metal. It's 74 thousandths of an inch, and they did not have that at the hardware store, so I bought a 93 thousandths and a 64 thousandths of an inch. And these are metal strips about the same size. These are brass, and I'm going to show you the numbers there in case if you want to go to your hardware store to get one. What I'm going to do when I make this one is I'm going to put the thick metal on one end and the thinner metal on the other end. Some of these edges are a little bit sharp, so I am going to file down the rough edges so that it does not cut into the saxophone pad. I got all the rough edges filed down on these. Now I'm going to cut the pieces to the correct length. This should be about 6 inches. Then about 1.5 inches. And then the thinner one, about 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to file down the sharp edges. I have an old hinge rod. I'm going to use that. So I'm going to measure this, and the size really doesn't matter as much as that it's the same size as the drill bit that I use. That drill bit's about the right size, so I'm going to use that one. With a scriber, I'm going to mark where I want to put the holes. And one on the other side. And then one on each of the other short pieces of metal. Now I'm going to use the bench motor to drill the holes. And I'll see if this fits in there. Yes, it does. You want it fairly tight. So I'm going to drill the rest of the holes. Now I need to cut the hinge rod, so I'm going to put that in the vise, and I'm going to take these two pieces and put them together. I want a piece a little bit longer than those two pieces, so I'm going to cut that right there. I have the little piece of hinge rod. I'm going to put that through both of these. And then there's just a little bit hanging out on each end. And then I'm going to take the tack hammer and a metal block. I'm going to hit that. And that will help expand it. I'm going to tap the other side. Okay, now this should be fairly tight. It should move, but be fairly tight so it won't come apart. And that side of it is done. Then I'm going to do the same thing with this side as I did with the other side. That one's having a little problem going in. So I'm going to tap on that one. Okay, there we go. So a little bit on each end. I'm going to tap that one too. There it is. And I now have my saxophone pad leveling tool. This tool has a thicker metal that you can use on some of the larger pads, and then the thinner one that you can use on some of the pads up at the top of the instrument. If one of these ever gets loose, you can just tap it again with the tack hammer, and that will fix it. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe for more band instrument repair videos.